So what is mindfulness and what does it mean to you? Mindfulness is a shift in the way that you pay attention, but through that subtle shift, your entire world can transform from the inside out. When it comes to mindfulness, there's understanding it, and then there's knowing it directly in your own experience. Now, you might not understand mindfulness as a concept yet, but I can guarantee you, you've already experienced it. Can you remember a time when you were totally engaged in an activity? I mean, utterly absorbed. You weren't thinking about the bills or work or the things you needed to do later. Every part of your being was focused in the moment. Maybe you caught your breath at an exquisite sunrise, or maybe you experienced it spontaneously when you're out in the surf, skiing down a mountain, or simply alone in nature. Yogis and dancers know mindfulness when they lose themselves in the joyful movement of the body. And artists know it when they're absorbed in the act of creation. When we find ourselves in these moments, a deep sense of connectedness with life suddenly emerges. Everything feels alive, radiates energy, and emanates sacredness. Scientists now concur with what wisdom traditions have long been telling us, that the keys to fulfillment and to true well-being lay not in the external circumstances of our lives, but the internal, the state of our minds and the quality of our consciousness. Mindfulness is in fact the core essence of every wisdom tradition throughout history. It's the reason for every spiritual practice ever performed. And more importantly, it's the key to true and lasting fulfillment. There are three components to mindfulness, three ways in which our attention shifts gears. Firstly, our attention is held on purpose. Mindfulness involves the conscious and deliberate direction of our awareness. So being mindful, you could say, is the opposite of being on autopilot, which unfortunately for so many of us is the normal state of the mind for most of the day. And unfortunately, when we're on autopilot, the mind is really noisy. It chatters away ceaselessly and almost constantly. When you practice mindfulness, it allows you to wake up out of autopilot. It allows us to hold attention where we consciously choose. The second component of mindfulness is that we are immersed in the present moment. If we leave our mind to its own devices, it habitually wanders away from the present moment. It constantly gets caught up in replaying the past and projecting into the future. In other words, we're very rarely fully present in the moments of our lives. Mindful attention, however, is completely engaged in present moment experience, the here and the now. And thirdly, when practicing mindfulness, our attention is held non-judgmentally. We're aiming not to control or suppress our thoughts in any way. We simply aim to pay attention to our experiences without judging, labeling, or making stories about them in any way. Mindfulness then allows us to become the watcher of sense perceptions, thoughts and emotions as they arise, without getting caught up in them and being swept away in their current. When you're able to live mindfully, you can literally transform your entire world from the inside out, and from that place, live in harmony with yourself and in harmony with the world around you.